Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri Malaysia dan isteri. Yang amat berbahagia Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Dr. Wan Ismail. Yang berhormat Datuk Seri Diraja Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, Menteri Luar Negeri dan isteri. Datin Seri Diraja Sarifah Zulkifli. Yang amat berhormat Menteri Besar Johor. Yang amat berhormat Menteri-Menteri Kabinet. Tuan Yang Terutama Datuk Dr. Asfar Muhammad Mustafa, Pesuruhjaya Tinggi Malaysia ke Singapura dan isteri. Yang berbahagia Datin C. Nur Hayati Soeb. Yang berbahagia Datuk Seri Amran Muhammad Zain, Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Luar Negeri. Tan Sri, Datuk-Datuk, Tuan-Tuan dan Puan-Puan. Saya bagi pihak Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia di Singapura mengucapkan selamat datang kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri dan isteri serta delegasi dan warga Malaysia ke Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia. Majlis seterusnya mempersilakan Ustaz Khairul Nizam bin Basar, Imam Masjid Temenggung Singapura untuk bacaan doa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا الأمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أعوذ بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. Ya Allah, dengan berkat kemuliaan nama-namamu, dengan keagungan sifat-sifatmu, dengan kesempurnaan kalam dan firmanmu, dan dengan kelimpahan rahmat dan nikmatmu, anugerahkanlah apalah kiranya akan negara kami keselamatan dan kesejahteraan, keamanan dan kemakmuran, kesehatan dan keafiatan, iltizam dan istiqamah, serta kejayaan dalam semua bidang. Kami juga bermohon kepadamu ya Allah, kurniakan apalah kiranya Majlis Ramah Mesra yang amat berhormat Perdana Menteri bersama rakyat Malaysia di Singapura ini, sebab yang membawa kepada keberkatan, keharmonian dan kemuafakatan, kebahagiaan dan kedamaian, sehinggakan kami mengecapi nikmat kehidupan yang berkekalan. Allahumma dafa'anna al-ghala wal bala wal waba wal fahsya wal munkar was suyuf al mukhtalifah wasyada'ida wal mihan. Ya Allah, wahai Tuhan kami, jauhkan apalah kiranya akan diri kami, keluarga dan negara kami daripada gangguan beraneka ragam, segala mara bahaya, bala bencana dan musibah, serta halangan dan rintangan yang wujud zahir maupun yang batin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirkafi. Bismillahirmuafi. Bismillahilladzi la yadurru ma'asmihi syai'un fil ard wala fis sama' wa huwas sami'ul alim. Bismillahi wa ala barakatillah. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Terima kasih Ustaz. Majlis dengan hormat menjemput Tuan Yang Terutama Datuk Dr. Asfar Muhammad Mustafa, Pesuruhjaya Tinggi Malaysia ke Singapura untuk menyampaikan sepatah dua kata. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Perdana Menteri Malaysia. Yang amat berbahagia Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Dr. Wan Ismail. Yang berhormat Menteri Besar Johor, yang berhormat Menteri-Menteri Kabinet, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, hadirin dan hadirat yang saya hormati sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani. bagi pihak Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia di Singapura serta rakyat Malaysia di Singapura, saya mengalu-alukan kedatangan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri serta isteri dan Menteri-Menteri Kabinet ke Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia di Singapura. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Datuk Seri di atas kesudian untuk meluangkan masa di majlis ini. Majlis Ramah Mesra, saya amat berbesar hati untuk menganjurkan acara Majlis Ramah Mesra ini di Dewan Serbaguna Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia. Majlis ini menghimpunkan rakyat Malaysia yang tinggal dan bekerja di Singapura. Lawatan Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Perdana Menteri ke Singapura amatlah ditunggu-tunggu oleh rakyat Malaysia di sini sejak pelantikan Datuk Seri pada bulan November yang pas. Kepimpinan dan visi Datuk Seri telah menjadi inspirasi kepada kami dan saya percaya hadirin semua sudah tentunya tidak sabar-sabar untuk mendengar amanat Datuk Seri, terutamanya berkenaan dengan dasar dan hala tuju kerajaan, khususnya konsep Madani sebagai garis panduan mengemudi negara secara lebih berkesan. Sebelum saya sudahi ucapan saya, izinkan saya memberikan selangkap pantun. Jarum hilang di tengah jerami, kain kebaya di dalam peti. Selamat datang ke Suruhanjaya Tinggi, moga bahagia melekat di hati. Tanpa berlengah masa, dengan hormatnya saya menjemput Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Perdana Menteri untuk menyampaikan ucapan. Sekian, terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Dan yang utama, terima kasih dengan rakan-rakan di Suruhanjaya Tinggi kerana memberi kesempatan untuk saya bersama-sama dengan Azizah, Menteri Luar, Menteri Datuk Zafrul, Miti, ada Saudara Fahmi, Menteri Komunikasi dan Menteri Besar Johor Semaon. Teman saya pakai saudara-saudara ya. Panjang kata itu panjang. Tambah pula kalau Zamri dia kena diraja lagi semua. Baik, dan juga Datuk KSU. Saya datang hari ini untuk bersama-sama untuk meningkatkan kerjasama dengan Singapura, negara yang penting dan negeri jiran, dan minta maaf kerana terlambat kerana kita bincang panjang lebih masa sedikit dengan Perdana Menteri Hsien Loong dan kemudian sambung dengan Baharu. Jadi saya nak mulakan dengan berikan pandangan tentang pertemuan tersebut. The meeting with Prime Minister Hsien Loong has been cordial and fruitful because I represent a view with my team in the cabinet that we should enhance bilateral relations. We should not allow contentious issues to drag and create unnecessary problems between the two countries. We have great history together. We have the resolve to deal with these challenging issues together. Of course, there will be differences, and I told some cabinet members from Singapore that sometimes negotiations with Singapore is always tough and difficult, but we should pursue the common agenda. Okay, there are things that they can learn from us, and there are a lot of other things too that we can learn from them. We need investments from Singapore. We need to focus on this new technology, the new economy, digitalization, and I mentioned also, in addition to the MOU that we signed, an initiative of Datuk Zafrul and also Fahmi, beyond that, we have, for example, the need to enhance our capacity in terms of economic collaboration, in terms of food security. Right? Malaysia has been rather sluggish in its growth. Political battle has been rough, and that had dragged in the economy. But the central issue is still governance, poor governance, endemic corruption. And we have talked about it, but corruption seems to be systemic. And now that it's 2 months I've been in government, I realize it is worse than I thought in the beginning. It's not something new. Hussein Alatas have talked about it for decades. and if you have an opportunity to read his text on the problem of corruption or action or the myth of the lazy native, you will realize that corruption has been a disease, but no way has he referred to as being systemic. To me, to my mind, it is. So people do ask me, why do I harp on this issue so strongly? And I must say that this is a central challenge to us in Malaysians. The challenge of governance, due to abuse of power, of massive corruption that has inflicted the entire system of this country. This situation is not hopeless because you still have political leaders, people in the business community, the academic, who are quite concerned, who are quite determined to chart a new political landscape in this country. And that resolve is important to my mind. It's critical. If we do, for example, take that resolve. That's why I crafted this Madani. It's not something new. It's just I want Malaysians to realize that we need to focus on the economy. It has to be inclusive. We have to get a clear understanding what sustainability is all about. It's just not economic growth. It's also about justice. It's about care and compassion. It is not unbridled capitalism. So all these issues have been discussed, deliberated by our scholars. But we have to put it into concrete policy framework. Right? And we are blessed because it is a multiracial society, multi-religious. Okay, Islam is the religion of the Federation. Vast majority are Malays and Muslims, but that's not the necessity to be able to work together. Respect. Also respect and trust is also key terms that I use in the Madani concept. Because why do you talk about race and religion if there's no compassion? Why do you talk about religion when there's no sense of justice for everyone? How can religion be relevant to us when you allow discrimination, abuse of power, oppression? They cannot be. So there is gross contradiction in terms. So this is a major challenge. I come here to appeal to you also to have this courage to try and make the necessary and resolve to try to support an attempt to change the political landscape. Mine is not easy. Yes, I happen to be Prime Minister now, but it's not easy. You can't do it alone. I am fortunate because whatever criticism against my team was some being charged, etc. But these 2 months I have not encountered any problem, okay, in ensuring first issue of institutional reform, that the judiciary must be fiercely independent, that the enforcement agencies, including MACC or Commercial Crime Division or the Inland Revenue Board, must continue and conduct their work independently. But I have not encountered any problem. I have not found any minister thus far coming to appeal to have some form of negotiated tender or arrangements that would benefit their family members or cronies. So I think there's a sign that people, whatever the problems in the past that they've encountered, people do realize that we need to save this country for all Malaysians. I'm a Malay. I'm a committed Malay. I make no apologies. I'm proud of Bahasa. I'm proud of my culture and heritage. I'm trying my best to be a good practicing Muslim, but that's not necessarily lead us to be prejudicial or discriminate others or condescending towards others. This is, to my mind, important to realize. And do I have, now after holding office and working together as a team, do I have this concern that we may not succeed? No, I'm very optimistic because I found many Malaysians who were just waiting for a chance to bring back Malaysia to its prime. There's so many Malaysians who have that intention. They've been sometimes complicit to the excesses of the past. I have criticized not only political elite, but also people in the academia. You have professors and scholars who just submit to the excesses. And I have said this before, that one MDB would not have happened if the political elite, the bureaucracy, the intelligentsia or the academic, the scholars take a position, you know. But it did happen because there is that sense, not only despair, but complicity to the excesses of the crime. But that was the past. Now let us move now as a team of all Malaysians, Malays, Chinese, Indians, Kadazans, Dayak, those with that vision, working with that vigor to transform the society. Now look at, for example, the issue of the economy. Of course, I've said that we need investments, domestic and foreign direct investments. And I commend the Foreign Ministry and MITI, for example, for taking this extra mile initiative to try and convince investors to come in. And from their report, it's not too difficult now. Is it? When they see a credible leadership, political stability, people are just rushing to come in. And Prime Minister Hsien Loong alluded to this in my discussions with him. Now, but what do we want to achieve? Okay, growth. But do we want to allow unbridled capitalism to operate? No. Because we must make sure that no community is marginalized. Be it the Malay heartland or the urban poor among the ethnic Chinese or the Indians in the estates or the vast rural heartland among the Dayak, the Ibans, then Orang Ulu, etc. So there must be this attempt to understand sustainability in that context. And of course, we kept the environment, the green, etc., which I don't need to repeat. But that's in essence what we are trying to do. Okay. Now back to our relationship with Singapore, as I said, there are a lot of issues. Example, issue airspace. Happens to be Malaysia airspace. But you have a Changi Airport. Is it reasonable to insist that in every movement at Changi Airport they must get approval from Malaysia? I don't think it is necessary. But the airspace, other than that, must be preserved in terms of our national sovereignty. But this is where good neighbors should negotiate to try and resolve. It does not need to take 5 decades or 6 decades to resolve that problem. Okay. Similarly, in terms of which both of us agreed, you see hundreds and thousands of people moving from Johor every morning, having to wake up 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, what sort of leaders are we? We just don't care. What happens if I come from that family, having to survive, to work in Singapore, wake up at 3:30, 4 in the morning and move to Singapore to work with huge queues? So we agreed, okay, temporarily, before we change the system of digital, whatever, cards, whatever, is Fahmi, you need to work faster on that. Prior to that, what we can do is, for example, to open up, have more lanes, have place for officers, for immigration, customs, speed it up. Well, we have 50 now, have 30. So I'm giving immediate instructions. Do it, because it means so much to these families. And who cares? Normally we don't care. We only care before the elections. Or for the next 4 years, good luck to you. I want to make a difference. I'm talking about after the elections. So these things we can do. And my discussions with Prime Minister Hsien Loong, he was supportive. He said, okay, I know, you have more officers there, we'll reciprocate and do it fast so that it will ease. Similarly for Singaporeans, I mean, President Halimah told me that her friends, her family friends had to wait 12 hours to get to cross to Kuala Lumpur, to Terengganu, wherever. I mean, to Kuala Lumpur, sorry. And, well, maybe at a peculiar time, circumstances, it may take extra long, but in ordinary case, we need to do more. That's precisely what I intend to do. Of course, there are some, again, I said, they're very contentious issues like Batu Putih. We have taken a very strong position, the present cabinet, expressing our regret for the failure of the then Prime Minister Tun Mahathir not to appeal when we lost the case at the ICJ. But that's done. We disagree, but that's done. ICJ has given its decision. And as a country, we have to honor our commitment, okay? And the agreement, or respect the decision of the ICJ. So it's done. But we have to express, I told Prime Minister Hsien Loong, we have to express, we actually disagree. It was wrong for any Prime Minister to ignore this issue of sovereignty. They say, oh, it's a stone. It doesn't matter. It is ours. Okay. Well, I understand that we have lost the case, but what I'm saying is we did not appeal when we should have done so. Okay? So we state that stand so that in the negotiations, the Singapore authorities understand the pain that we have got to go through. But should we go then to war over Batu Putih? No, of course not. It's madness. But should we negotiate not in terms of ownership, because ownership is only Singapore, in terms of some of the issues of environment, of some projects there that may affect our sovereignty or the borders. So these things can be discussed. And I've told Prime Minister Hsien Loong, I'm giving instructions so that Minister Zamri is not able to take leave until he helped resolve this issue. So these are things that we want. Other than leaving it and continue tension. At least in water. There's a problem. That's why I'm saying to us here, Malaysians. We leadership, bureaucracy, or so-called experts must take their job seriously. Lackadaisical attitude, this unpreparedness when coming to negotiations have led us to some of these unresolved problems. Like water agreement is an agreement. When we were about to negotiate, we did not. But I think Prime Minister Hsien Loong was kind enough I said, look, I'm new guy in this game. I said, no, give me a chance to administer this country and work together. Of course he laughed. He said, not serious. I said, serious. I'm just 2 months as Prime Minister. So, so I said, I don't mind. I mean, do we want to, how do we look at Singapore? Some say, oh no, they are a Chinese country, we should not entertain, and they are majority non-Muslim. I think these things do not represent Malaysians. It's just a voice in the wilderness. It's just some desperate voice of some semi-literate rascals. Yeah, how can you do that? We are talking about survival as a nation, and there will be immense benefit to both countries if you maintain very good relations. I'm determined to pursue that. But there are problems, of course. Okay? And at times, I've said to our friends in Singapore, be reasonable and try. Some we win, some we lose. That's how we work as friends. You can't expect us to, give everything, because Malaysians are really concerned about, price of water, etc. So let us expand this, for example. Limited resources in Johor, there's capacity in Pahang. Let's look at the whole scheme. I don't have a scheme of things to remind me of the past Prime Minister. So, well, he agreed. He agreed, so we look at the total picture, so this deemed to be fair to Pahang, fair to Johor, and fair to Singapore. We look at this, which means we reopened the subject, because the subject was taboo for some years, you see. So I'm very pleased, and there is this more open attitude, friendly, and commitment to support each other. And as you know, not only in Johor, because Menteri Besar wants me to only represent Johor, I don't. Johor is a priority, don't worry. But also I used to represent Port Dickson, so I have to plan to also speak on behalf of Negeri Sembilan. I'm now from Tambun, so I have to speak on behalf of Perak. And of course I'm originally from Penang. So we have to think of all these countries. And we have also to see the possibility of them investing in Kedah, Perlis, Terengganu, Negeri Sembilan. Otherwise we'll continue to lose these countries, these states. So we make sure there more investment, people get proper job, good education, they'll be more reasonable, I think. So that's so far most of the things I've addressed, Foreign Minister. Right. No, normally in my sessions I encourage the Menteri Besar and the ministers to speak before me, but then because we were rather late. Now, so that is so far Singapore, but it comes to the issue of Madani, which is very important to my mind, because it's a tough work ahead in charting the course for the nation, the economy. There's been attempts to derail the process by harping on the issue of racism and religious bigotry. It's harmful in the medium, the long term. Do not underestimate the problems that you can create in the future. So work hard, support each other, and hopefully we'll have a better future for the country. So terima kasih atas pandangan, mendengar dan kesabaran, dan kalau ada soalan-soalan yang mudah saya jawab, yang susah saya tak boleh jawab sebab dia scholar. Saya. Okey, terima kasih.
Majlis merangkamkan setinggi perhargaan ke atas ucapan dan amanat yang disampaikan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri. Bagi meneruskan majlis dengan hormat mempersilakan Profesor Farid Al-Atas daripada National University of Singapore untuk memudah cara program seterusnya. Dipersilakan.
Penuh dengan harapan untuk masa depan negara kita. Kita penuh dengan harapan bahawa banyak akan berubah. Keadaan kita akan bertambah baik dengan kerajaan yang baru ini. Saya juga ingin, mungkin saya akan menanya soalan yang pertama mengenai faham masyarakat Madani atau Malaysia Madani. Saya rasa daripada apa yang Datuk Seri telah sebut tadi, salah satu daripada tujuan Datuk Seri adalah untuk mengembalikan kuasa kepada rakyat dalam arti memperkasakan rakyat atau memberdayakan rakyat, to empower society. Dan boleh kita mengatakan bahawa ini adalah sebahagian daripada gagasan masyarakat madani dan bagaimana rakyat dapat diperkasakan, diberi lebih banyak kuasa untuk menentang berbagai masalah seperti rasuah dan sebagainya.
Terima kasih, Bob. Sebab saya kata dia bermula dengan pemerkasaan, empowerment. Dan kalau lihat dalam madani, dia pemerkasaan ekonomi dan yang dikaitkan juga dengan democratic accountability. Kalau kita bicara demokrasi dalam pilihan raya, that's it. Tapi kalau democratic accountability dalam pilihan raya, apa yang dia sebut? Institutional reform, ya, dia mengenai hak rakyat. Sebab isu-isu rakyat itu disuarakan dengan mekanisme sama ada parti politik ataupun civil society. Ini yang tentunya dijelaskan. Tetapi dia juga dia memerlukan pencerahan. Rakyat ini kadang-kadang kalau disogok dengan propaganda, ini semua baik dan betul, dia tak boleh berfikir. Dalam agama Islam sendiri, dia akan berkembang kalau ada pencerahan dan pemikiran kritis. You see, the problem in our society, especially when you listen to political leaders or religious leaders, is just a command, not allowing for a critical response. The media becomes just a weapon, a propaganda weapon, with incessant propaganda. So I think what was alluded to by Professor Lawatan is the need for us to allow for effective, active participation. And I think that is but fundamental all this. I'm in my limited experience as a finance minister before. Fundamental is of course the economy. You can talk about justice, social justice. It's relevant, but economic empowerment is important if they have the correct understanding of sustainability and the overall scope of economic development.
Thank you, Datuk Seri. Baiklah, kita terusnya membuka sesi kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Saya fahamkan kita ada masa untuk 3 soalan yang ringkas. Silakan. Yes, please.
Salam sejahtera, selamat petang. Terima kasih, Prof. Saya izinkan saya tanya soalan kepada Datuk Seri. Apakah inisiatif yang Datuk Seri akan fokuskan dalam belanjawan yang bakal dibentangkan bulan depan supaya semua lapisan masyarakat dapat dimanfaatkan? Terima kasih.
Itu kena tunggu 24 bulan. Tetapi okey, apa yang saya tekankan tentu juga benar. Maknanya ketirisan, kerugian itu mesti ditentukan. Kalau kita belum tentukan governance, ketirisan itu, leakages itu boleh kalau tak boleh hentikan semua, dikurangkan. Itu yang pertama. Yang keduanya, dasar-dasar itu mesti memacu pertumbuhan. Tetapi dia juga harus ada kelainan, dia mesti ada keprihatinan terhadap permasalahan rakyat. Apa dia masalah? Sebab itu di Kuala Lumpur saya sebut, kita ada maju tanda, ada Perdana Menteri ini, maju tanda. Mai Perdana Menteri ini satu lagi, belum besar. Tapi saya kata mai Perdana Menteri ini sekarang, saya nak tentukan supaya semua warung dan gerai di Kuala Lumpur itu ada standard yang tinggi dan bersih dan orang kecil boleh berniaga dengan apa? Bawah dia berikan orientation dia berbeza. It does not stop. For example, they need to push for the big players to continue because they have capital, they have the resources, And we don't to frustrate their work, tetapi fokus kita kepada. Kemudian tentunya keutamaan kita juga ke pendidikan. Pendidikan ini juga kena sedikit kelainan melihat kepada kembangan teknologi sekarang, tetapi macam saya sebut, bagaimana kita bawa critical thinking, quality of education, itu juga kita tumbuhkan. Walaupun ini bukan semua soal bajet dalam belanjawannya, tapi bajet ini keutamaan kita termasuk yang saya sebut tadi, soal food security, soal digitalization, soal IKS yang selama ini belum dapat tumpuan yang lebih hebat. Ini beberapa isu yang saya akan cuba menyambung belanjawan yang lalu.
Ada soalan di belakang tadi?
Assalamualaikum Datuk Seri. I'm Habib from the Economic School of Public Policy. So I have one question. Basically, every time when a new Prime Minister comes in, there will be a new slogan. Satu Malaysia, bersama keluarga Malaysia, so on and so forth, right? So, how can we really know that this is not a sloganism? And because every time when, as the rakyat, we always feel like the structural issues remain the same as you mentioned earlier. Like all these problems that we're having. So, can we get something from you in terms of tangible results? For example, where we are heading in terms of economy, in terms of policies, so on and so forth. That's my question.
That's a pertinent point. I do not disagree with you. It's not just a new slogan. It must involve participation to explain. It's not just keluarga Malaysia. We don't know. Madani is a conceptual framework. I mean, we start with where talk about governance. I mean, we start with the Prime Minister himself. Do you award contracts to your cronies? Do you take bribes? Do you award tender a project without tender? These are central issues, and within this few months, we have done that. Okay? And not to me alone, but to the credit of my cabinet. They take the same position, which has not been done before. So action to hand, number 1, with the leadership. And it means a lot. I gave this example of flood mitigation. We are looking at the figures. Of course, it was a necessary project. Flood mitigation is necessary to contain this problem, flood problem, which normally will affect the poor, the vast majority of the poor. 15 billion approved, 15 billion ringgit project, 13.8 billion approved. So we start negotiating with the companies, okay? Because they were given negotiation at that time. When we started negotiating, we can bring down, we can save over 1 to 1.8 billion ringgit so far. There are projects during COVID, during PKP, MCO, emergency, using emergency, awarding projects without tender. Now we realize hundreds of millions are disbursed to party fund, etc. Well, this to my mind, because why? We talk about development with values and ethics. The problem of economic development, pure economic, like Homo economicus, without any regard for values and ethics, have led us to this state of affairs. So, if you ask me, are we serious? Yes, we are damn serious. We're taking a position and we have to act, and it's not easy. It is, mind you, young man, is tough. It's easier to just make pronouncements than really challenge the system. And we are precisely doing that now. Okay? And may Allah help us. But then we formulate the policy. What's sustainability, as I said? What's the environmental degradation? All this flood, sometimes of course you blame God. It's a work of nature. It's not blame God, lah. But sometimes this facade, corruption on earth due to the responsibility of man or woman. So I think we will have to make sure. I'm not suggesting it's easy. That's why my appeal is the people. I'm not just appealing to political parties, to the rakyat, to help and improve. This is not a sacrosanct book. I mean, I wrote it, crafted it when I was in prison, and of course edited and improved. Many other scholars gave their input, but I stand to be corrected. Some new ideas may come in, some corrections, some criticism. I'm fine. That's it.
Let me just quickly ask something to follow up on that. You said you appeal to not just to the politicians but to the people. And talking about corruption, we hear about high-level cases, but as you know, there's also corruption at lower levels. Everyone knows, you stop by a traffic cop, you may be asked to pay, you may be encouraged to pay bribe. What I want to ask you is, I think many of us as Malaysians, we want to fight this, but we should feel secure enough to tell the cop, we don't accept to pay you a bribe, and we're going to complain, we're going to go to your superiors. I think we must feel secure. We don't feel secure because we feel victimized. So how do you get that message across to the civil service that they have to act with purity, following the rules, and that civil service should be afraid of us as the rakyat, because we can complain if we are expected to be involved in corrupt acts. I think this is one way that we can be empowered. But how can you as Prime Minister assure us that we have that power?
Right. I did lead one of the meetings with the civil servants, suggest that please, you should feel free to give your views and politely criticize ministers or leaders. Then, after 1 month, we started monitoring the enforcement agencies. There's some improvement. There's some pockets where you have this old ways of doing business continuing. Then call up the Director General and say, please is happening. Please deal with something. Call up MACC to say that look, it is not just on top, but also enforcement agencies. I don't want to mention specifically because sometimes they feel a bit upset because once you mention an agency or department, you tend to generalize. And those guys who are really committed to the good job feels insulted. But let me just state here that yes, it is still happening. And because of that, we have to give them, our people the confidence. Not easy, but now, according to 3 heads of enforcement agencies, the complaints coming to them has probably not only doubled, farming should know that, yeah. People are coming with evidence in such a day, this is what happened, etc. Hopefully it is the beginning, but I think I stand to be guided. What else can we do to give the confidence? They will ask for bribe, no, I'm not going to pay. I will report you, insist. If that continues to happen, then actually you can change. You can alter. But we have not come to that yet. So we need a few. Particularly among the young, most of the complaints come from the young. You say, yeah, you can do it. Please, what's your name? What's your position? Then the report. Now, of course, there's not enough evidence, just one report, but at least it gives an indication that people now are more courageous. But it's not enough. I'm talking about 30, 40 cases reported daily, which is not enough to change the course of this issue. Why don't you give your submission to some views? Yeah. Please do that.
Harus. Okey, kita ada masa untuk satu lagi soalan demi memperkasakan kaum wanita. Mungkin kalau ada soalan daripada silakan.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Dr. Sri. I'm Rebecca. I'm the Executive Director of the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Secretariat based in Singapore and Malaysia. My question is, I know you have a lot on your plate from a domestic perspective, but I'm more interested, equally interested, in your international position. How will you change or improve on Malaysia's international position, whether it's a change in stance with regards to ASEAN or APEC or any of the other international organizations? Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. For example, profile of Ministry of Foreign Affairs is now has increased partly because the emphasis of this administration is also international in that sense. We talk about investments, very international. We talk about our position, democratic accountability, central governance is also quite international position. But my priority for the next few months is purely domestic. Because we have to put our house in order, which means strong policies, economy, some adjustments to education policy, look at the weaknesses in the marketing infrastructure that are affecting our farmers and fishermen and smallholders, and quality of public health service, which is of course educated, fair. And you have this, as I said, from the estates to the rural heartland, some of the facilities are bad even in the context of a third world country. So I think we have to really look at all this. People criticize me, why do I focus so much on Sarawak and Sabah? I said, look, I'm tied to an agreement signed in 1963. Okay? And what we promised in 1963, we have not honored. We have sometimes reneged in the commitment. So I think at least I try my best. I told the leader of Sabah, I'll try my best. Can you imagine? You want to build a clinic in Kapit, 15 million ringgit. Okay? And I approved actually. My predecessor, Astro, he approved. Was quite hefty sum. But because the procedure laid down, we have to get clearance to Putrajaya in every stage. So 40%, 50% of the 4 billion spent. So what I did now is to see the capacity of the JKR, for example, and if it is 10 million, 20 million, or maximum 50 million, let them do it. With strict financial procedure, rules, and monitored by the agencies concerned. So these things will actually help facilitate and also give confidence. I mean, why must Putrajaya decide where the clinic in Kapit is going to be? So this sort of thing. That's why I say the focus on domestic politics, economy, policies is critical. But we are living in a globalized world. We are part of ASEAN. I have to participate in all ASEAN forums. And similarly, our engagement with China and America was important to be closer to them for trade and investment in this country. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Datuk Seri. Baiklah, dengan berakhirnya jawapan kepada soalan yang terakhir, berakhirlah sesi tanya jawab ini. Diucapkan terima kasih kepada semua, terutama sekali kepada Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Dan itu saya serahkan kembali majlis kepada MC.
Perdana Menteri dan Profesor Farid Al-Atas. Majlis mempersilakan Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri diiringi dengan Profesor Farid Al-Atas untuk turun ke pentas bagi sesi bergambar. Hadirin sekalian, sesi bergambar pertama adalah bersama warga negara Malaysia dan diikuti dengan sesi kedua bersama pegawai dan kaki-tangan Suruhanjaya Tinggi Malaysia. Bagi tujuan ini, saya menjemput ahli media untuk mengambil tempat di hadapan dan rakyat Malaysia. Let's all stand, group together and have a good family photo with Yang Perdana Menteri, Isteri,